If you bought your investment property under your personal name, you need to be careful because there's a good chance that the money you make in the end won't actually end up in your pocket. You'll understand after hearing about my painful experience. Buying investment properties under your personal name can be a real trap. About 10 years ago, when I first got into real estate, I saw the older generation around me doing property development and making a fortune. So I decided to follow their lead and try my hand at some small-scale development projects, like buying a big plot with a rundown house, tearing it down, and building 2 townhouses. After more than a year of hard work, I finally finished building them and was just about to sell. I did the math and realized that after selling, I would not actually make much money, but there was nothing I could do about it. When you are young, you have to pay your dues, so I did not think too much about it and just kept the properties to collect rent. Fortunately, those were the golden years for Melbourne real estate and the value of the houses went up quite a bit. But just when I was getting ready to sell, I discovered a huge problem. Even now when I talk about it, I feel like slapping myself. Because I had done development on the property, I was not eligible for the 50% capital gains tax discount since it was considered a commercial activity. And to make matters worse, I had bought the property under my personal name for this commercial activity. As a result, the entire capital gains tax from selling this property had to be added to my personal income tax and paid together. On top of that, I graduated in actuarial science, and after working for just over 2 years, my annual income had already exceeded $130,000. When you add all these factors together, it meant that every time I sold a property, I had to pay over $100,000 in taxes. And that's not even counting things like GST. It felt like even though you clearly made money, the numbers looked great on paper, but you just couldn't put the money in your pocket. At that time, even my confidence in real estate was shaken. I started to doubt myself. Was I really cut out for this? But as Chairman Mao said, if you don't go through tough times, you won't learn how to handle them. After that, I threw myself into learning everything I could about finance, taxes, law, and so on. Now, when I buy property, I use different structures. For example, if I know I'll be paying capital gains tax, I'll put it under my own name. If I plan to redevelop, I put it into a trust. If it's land with both residential and commercial potential, I put it under a company. Of course, every situation needs to be analyzed specifically. I learned this lesson the hard way and realized that the first step to successful real estate investment is solid financial planning. What's important isn't how much the property appreciates, but how much you can actually put in your pocket. So now, before helping clients buy property, I always ask about their income, family situation, and future asset and wealth goals. Only after designing the overall structure and exit plan do we move on to the home buying stage. I really don't want to see my clients make the same mistakes I did back then. Honestly, the cost of correcting some mistakes can be very high. I'm a meticulous planner and I'm here in Melbourne as your buyer's agent. Like and follow me to avoid pitfalls.